Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. DSP here, live on the stream. Today is Wednesday, March 23rd. Today's not the 23rd. I cannot speak. Today is Wednesday, March 29th, 2017. Welcome to one and all. I would also like to thank those who are watching on demand on YouTube, obviously. For this is being recorded for YouTube as well, my YouTube channel, DSPGaming. Alright, we got a fun day ahead of us today. Let me tell you, everybody. Yesterday was a lot of fun for me, and here's why. First of all, I got to return to Dark Souls 3, and for the first time since the last DLC, and yeah, I was pretty rusty, let's face it. I couldn't even remember the buttons for the first 5 minutes, like what did what. But then we got things up and running. This DLC is quite challenging. Running around and getting shot at by angels and fucking poison and bogs full of monsters and all kinds of crazy shit going on. But it's a fun one as well. It's very chaotic, and in that regard, it's pretty funny in my opinion, I think. Because it's just so much going on at once. It literally is so much going on at once that it's almost impossible to kind of keep track. You have to, like, die a bunch of times to even see, oh, okay, there's enemies coming out of here, there's enemies coming out of here, there's enemies coming out of my ass. To the point where I'm sure that expert Dark Souls players are probably loving it, and they're perfect parrying everything and getting through and dominating it. I'm certainly not one of those players, although I'm not absolutely terrible at the game anymore, I'm certainly not good at it. So, I'm just doing what I can to survive, and, there's people who certainly have issue with the way that sometimes I play these games. Oh my god, Phil didn't painstakingly go through as slow as he could, killing every single possible enemy along the way, examining every nook and cranny of every map. No, I didn't. And when I played Dark Souls, I like doing that actually, but this DLC seems to almost be set up to the point where unless you are purposely over-leveled, meaning if you've purposely been playing the game in the off-season, per se, for things such as PvP or whatever, you are not in a situation where you can survive that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, my character right now is actually taking quite a while to kill the enemies. It's not like he's bullying through them like he was the main game or even the last DLC. That last Ashes of Ariandel DLC was way more stuff. Or way more, I'd say way easier, than this one. I was just wailing on the enemies and destroying them in that last DLC. This one, especially that first boss, you saw how many hits it took to kill his ass, right? So, yeah, so there you have it. I was running around and having fun yesterday, and I would have liked to examine every nook and cranny of the DLC so far, but the fact that there's fucking angels coming after me and shooting a million light beams and killing me and, kind of prevents that. And yes, I know people are like, but you can kill the angels. You should have found these wrinkled guys, because the angels aren't real, and if you kill the wrinkled guys, then the angels die, and then you can... okay, that's great. And I'm sure you figured that out on your own, right? Like, you legitimately just went through and died 400 times and just randomly hit these shriveled dudes until the angels disappeared, right? Oh, no, you looked it up. Because I don't do that. I play cold. I always have. I've always been a person who plays these games, completely cold. So I don't know about this shit, right? And the bottom line is the fact that I am still surviving and persevering, maybe by luck in a lot of ways. I agree. Especially yesterday was absolutely ridiculous. How lucky I actually got. But yeah, I'm doing what I can to survive, and it is what it is. And I'm enjoying the DLC. If anything, I would actually say this, yesterday's session, even though there was a grueling boss that took me like 45 minutes to beat or whatever, I had a ton of fun playing this DLC yesterday. An absolute ton of fun. And, it was hilarious. There was a guy with a giant friggin' cheese knife coming after me. It was just great. It was like, it was zany how crazy the DLC was, but it also was very, very interesting, okay? So, I'm looking forward to continuing on with the DLC today, alright? I got another 4 hours, obviously, here on stream for it. I don't know if I'm going to beat it or not. A lot of people are saying I won't, and it's not because that there's so much more content left, but more because the bosses coming up, apparently, are the hardest in the entire series. Okay, so I guess we'll see. 2 really tough bosses coming up, apparently. I guess we'll see how it goes, alright? I'm certainly, like I said, I'm certainly going to give it the old college try, just like I did yesterday, as you saw. Yeah, I got my ass whooped by that boss, but I fought it and fought it and fought it, and eventually persevered, and looking forward to continuing on. Okay? Alright, so that's going to be today's gameplay stream. 4 more hours of Dark Souls 3, ladies and gentlemen. Later tonight... oh my god. Later tonight, I'm going to light a match and explode due to the gash inside of me. Holy shit. Excuse me. Alright, later tonight, I'm going to be continuing on with my Danganronpa playthrough. That will be offline, not live streamed. That'll be another 2 hours of gameplay recorded and uploaded to DSPGaming. So I hope that you will check that out later tonight. I'm very excited for the continuation of that tonight. That is a playthrough I'm very much enjoying. That is a playthrough that will be completed. It's just that it's going to be one that is going to kind of go on the back burner for a while. Only because, as you know, right now I'm doing Zelda, which I'm almost done with. I'm doing Mass Effect Andromeda, which I'm not even close to finishing. Next week is Persona 5, and that's kind of the big update and the big news for today, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not aware... Okay, if you're not aware, Persona 5 is coming out in less than a week. It's been a JRPG we've all been waiting for quite some time. It's been delayed multiple times. Finally freaking coming out. And finally today, the review embargo was lifted. Okay, the review embargo was finally lifted on Persona 5. All the reviews came out, and in general, the consensus is the game is amazing. It's either a 9 or a 10. Many outlets giving it a 10 out of 10. Saying that not only is it the best Persona game in the entire series by far, it's also one of the best JRPGs ever made. Now that is a bold statement. And I have played many JRPGs in my time. So I am very curious to get my hands on the game and play it with all of you. And see if I feel the same. I'm very excited about this now. I would love to see how this goes, because if it really is that good, right? If they really have improved upon the formula so much, if they really have done a great job with this game, then I am very much looking forward to experiencing that with all of you. I mean, let's face it, Persona 4, a game that I knew nothing about and went into it with no preconceived notions of what the game would be, ended up being one of my favorite playthroughs of the past few years. Okay? So we're going to see what happens. Starting next week, I hope that you folks will be here with me as I play Persona 5. Alright? That's hype for next week. So, but anyway, the point I'm making here is, as you can see, I've got many long, ongoing playthroughs. I really want to wrap up Zelda this week, so that's why as soon as I finish Dark Souls 3's DLC, I'm jumping right back into Zelda to try to wrap that up, because I really need to finish that by this weekend to get one of these games finished, okay? Because then I can maybe focus on just Mass Effect and Persona 5 and juggling those for a couple weeks. And then every once in a while squeezing in some Danganronpa and then going from there, okay? So I guess we will see what happens. I am very excited for the future, for this next month, right? I just want to throw this out there, everyone. If you haven't seen it yet, last night I played The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 3. And that went live on my DSPGaming channel overnight. I hope you'll check that out. Continuing on with the Walking Dead series, a pretty great game. I definitely liked the episode. Although, I'll be honest with everyone, it gave me blue balls because there was this big culminating plot line. It was all like building to this big explosion point. And you get to the end of the DLC and the explosion point basically comes to a head and then doesn't happen. And you're like, ah, really? So you let me out for an hour and a half here, expecting something big to happen, and then it's like, oh, wait till next time. Like, son of a bitch. But it was still a great episode, so I hope you'll check that out. And you'll see, how my choices affected things and see how that goes. So that's live right now on DSP Gaming, okay? Later this week, as I said, I'll be going back to Zelda. I'll probably be trying to fit in a little bit more Danganronpa and all of that. And, I know there's some people who are like, man, where's the Mass Effect playthrough? Listen, the bottom line is this happens every year. For some reason, in like March, April, game devs release way too many games at once. It just happens to be that in particular this year, all the games are incredibly long. It would have been one thing if they were like 8 to 10 hour games. These games are like 60 hours long. It's insane. So there's not much I could do about that. I just got to play it at my own pace, right? And hopefully, throughout the month of April, where it doesn't look like there's too many new releases, I can wrap up a lot of these games, okay? All right. Wojo says he's tried to pledge to my Patreon twice and it's giving a CSRF failure message. I don't know what that means. That definitely sounds like a website issue, a website bug. What I would recommend is 2 things, okay? First of all, try it again in a different browser. A lot of the times when you get error messages online, if you just try a different browser, it'll fix it. That maybe there's something going wrong with an update on a browser or a plugin on a browser or something. All right, so that's one. Number 2, if you really can't get it to work, please write Patreon support. Okay, they do have a good support service. They usually get back to you within 24 hours, being that today is the 29th, and that you need to get your pledge in by the end of March for it to count for this month. Yeah, I would appreciate it if it's not working, if you write them sooner rather than later. I do appreciate you pledging, by the way, because I was actually going to bring that up. But before I do that, I'll do a couple quick shout-outs here. We've got King of Hypocrisy, who did a 50-bit cheer, and he says, I'm the best overall Dark Souls player in the country. Of course. And then Wolf of the Dawn did a 10-bit cheer. He said, be honest, you're trying to stealth drop Mass Effect. No, I'm not. Listen, I'm not trying to stealth drop anything. But it's just so much going on right now. Let's be honest here. There's so many games. And I have to juggle them all, right? And the thing is, I've skipped stuff too. That's the other thing, is it's not like, oh, well, Phil's playing every new release and that's why he can't handle them. Dude, I'm skipping games. I skipped a bunch this month. Just this month. I didn't play Ghost Recon Wildlands. I didn't play, what is it? MLB came out this week. I'm not playing that. I'm skipping a bunch of stuff and I still can't keep up. This month has been absolutely insane. Ooh, shout out to Octopedre, who just did a 51-bit cheer. Thank you, Octopedre. Appreciate that. So, alright, so now let me get back on topic here. Before we get started with Dark Souls, obviously I gotta do my little bit of gratuitous plugging. The month's end is fast approaching, ladies and gentlemen. Alright? It is going to end very shortly. In fact, today's the 29th. There's only 2 days left in the month. I would really appreciate it if you consider pledging to my Patreon at patreon.com/darksidephil. Your pledges not only earn you personal perks, some great things you could get, like text or verbal thank yous in my videos, getting your questions answered on my Q&A show, Ask the King, which, by the way, is going to be next month. So if you pledge right now, you can actually get your questions in time for that show, okay? Or even getting a private Q&A video made. So all that stuff is great, all right? But also, there's a monthly goal this month. If you pledge $5 or more in the next 2 days, you'll get in on the Patreon-exclusive Twitch and Chill event where you'll be able to play Jackbox Party Pack with me in a marathon-style stream. That's going to take place probably near the end of April, if not early May, all right? I'm excited for that. I'm looking forward to that because there's been a lot of people who want to participate in that kind of stuff with me. But the past 2 events, we've learned that sadly, it seems like when you do these interactive streams, there's certain people who can seem to get into every match if they want to. I don't know how they do it, but I'd rather have it set up so that we can actually have it so that the people who definitely want to play get to play. All right, and I am aware. I've now done 2 sessions with the Jackbox Party Pack. This will be the 3rd and final one. After this, the next interactive style stream that I do like this will be a different games, all right? This will be like the final one for this. So, folks, please consider pledging to my Patreon. In particular, right now, I could really use the help because, as I've said many times the past couple of days, April's going to be a very tough month for me financially because February really sucked on YouTube. There was that unexpected massive dip in ad revenue income, and I really need your help to come back from that. And if you pledge to my Patreon, you know, that's funds that I'll get right away and I'll be able to put towards my bills, okay? So please consider pledging if you haven't. Patreon.com/DarksidePhil. All right? That's number one. Number two, Teespring at teespring.com/stores/DSPGaming. Someone actually just posted up the link to Teespring in the stream chat. So give it a look. It's the DarksidePhil merch shop. I launched it a little under a month ago now. It's done very well. I think at this point I've sold over 70 items in a month, which is pretty damned good when you think about it. Great quality stuff. This particular week I didn't add anything new because I was a little busy over the weekend, didn't really have much time to work on stuff like that. But I think I will be adding some new designs coming up shortly. But yeah, the big best sellers on there are the DSP Skull design, as well as there's a DSPGaming logo. A few cool things on there that people really seem to be enjoying. There's t-shirts, there's sweatshirts, all kinds of stuff. It's not just shirts, there's mugs. You know, I'm using my mug. I've been using it on daily on stream here. So, definitely check it out. All right, it's a great stuff. I'm wearing one of the shirts today. You'll see on webcam, I'm wearing one of the Teespring shirts. So please consider, if maybe you want to contribute, you want to help me out, but you want to get something physical out of it, that's the way you can do it, all right? Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, today here on the stream, you can also contribute by cheering, subbing to the channel, or tipping me. Now, as of today, I believe we have 250, let's see. We have 256 subs to the channel. Thank you to everyone who is a sub to my DarksidePhil channel here on Twitch. I very much appreciate that. When we hit 500, which I know we've got a long way to go, right? We just hit 250. When we hit 500, I can get some more emotes. We just added the DSP death emote, which people have been using like crazy. Okay. Especially because of this Dark Souls playthrough and the amount that I'm dying, obviously. People are utilizing the new emote to its best effect, which is awesome. Okay. Thanks to those who have been cheering during the stream. Today's cheerleader so far is Octopedre, and I hope that you will consider cheering if you can. But in particular right now, if you can and you really want to support me, if you could send me some tips during the stream, that's going to help me the most, because that I'm going to get right away. And again, that's going to help me to pay my bills in April with this financial tightness that I'm having, all right? If you want to know how to tip, it's very simple. When you're watching the stream here and you like what you see, you want to toss me a buck or something, just go right below the stream into the dashboard area there. It's got a bunch of, you know, things like the stream rules and all that. There's a section right there that says tips. Click on it, takes you to the tips page. It's quick, it's simple, and you can even do it anonymously. If you either tip me, if you cheer me, or if you sub to the channel, there will be an on-screen notification during the stream, and I will give you a shout-out thank you for that, okay? In fact, thank you right now to Anonymous, who tipped me $1, and he says, I hope I'll take time to explore today. Have fun. Thank you to Anonymous, the first tip of the day. I appreciate that. All right, that's really it, folks. I don't really have much else to say. I don't want to go too long here and be long-winded, all right? I will say this, later today, one final thing, I'll actually be doing a unboxing of the March loot crate. I actually received 2 loot crates over the weekend. One was the March monthly loot crate, and one was the next Marvel Gear and Goods loot crate. So I will be unboxing, the March loot crate today, and then I will be doing the Marvel loot crate on Friday. So 2 new loot crate unboxings will be going up on my vlogging channel, The King of Hate Vlogs, this week. So I hope you'll check out those videos as well, okay? All right, are we good to go? Are we ready? Are you ready? All right, and for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching at home, there's actually 0 people in actual attendance here. I'm by myself in my office, and there's hundreds watching at home. So for the 0 in attendance and the hundreds watching at home, let's get ready to get my ass reamed by the Dark Souls 3 DLC. There you go. All right, let's end the pre-stream and let's get this show on the road, folks. Here we go.